Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.
G'day, I'm Fletch, and today it's about a story about a family and their emotional attachment with a car that they've had since brand new. Unfortunately, one of the owners has just recently passed, but a family heirloom it will remain. And you're about to see it in this week's Classic Restos on the road. At an undisclosed location in country New South Wales. This is about Barry and Joyce Bright. A 1967 HR Premier station wagon has graced their lives for decades, and this is part of their story. It was a happy day back in 1967 on the 20th of August when Barry and Joyce purchased their brand new HR station wagon. Yes, a delightful Hacienda blue enhanced by a Gretchen white roof welcomed them as they opened the door and sat inside, being surrounded by that new car smell, the scent of that honey fawn interior. Of course, it goes without saying, this HR is a one-owner car. Back in the day, this car was only pulled out of the shed for Sunday drives and for holidays at Christmas for its long drive to Manly, just north of Sydney, New South Wales. Back when car park spaces were a lot easier. Park the car, walk across the street and go to the beach. Just barely weeks ago from time of filming, Joyce passed away. So we just missed out on hearing Joyce's side of the story, her love for this wagon, and the times that she had with Barry and their son Paul. Barry has now passed the beloved HR down to son Paul, and you'll get to meet him soon. The HR nowadays is taken out for club runs and of course the amazing HD HR Nationals each year, where the car has won numerous first prizes for the best unrestored station wagon. Apart from Manly, New South Wales, this sought-after HR has travelled as far as the South Australian Nationals held in Harndorf and a quick hop and a jump over to Kangaroo Island. This HR Prem is Paul's pride and joy. He grew up with this car. It's not about money. $1 million would never get you the keys. This car is about tradition. Tradition and family legacy. And since the recent passing of his mum Joyce, a car like this means so much more. Okay, so before we share with you this beautiful HR Premier station wagon, here's a little bit about Paul and the man cave here that he has created.
Yeah, well, I built this shed here in about 2009. Kicked off as mainly a workshop for the cars and whatnot, and then we decided we wanted somewhere to have parties and all that sort of stuff, and somewhere to put all the bits and pieces that I've collected, and hence what we've got here, and all the gear we need to have a good time, and then the fire pit outside, and it all come together. Barbecue, everything you need for a bloke in a shed. When I built the shed, and we really didn't have a bit of a party area planned, so then once that bit come along, I had nowhere to put my bits and pieces because I wasn't allowed to put them inside in the house. So then I decided to put the floor over the top here, and then the little toilet went in, and then everything created from there, and it just made the perfect spot for me to come out and tinker with cars and here, and then Tanya with me and friends and family. It's just a great feeling to have all that around you. My reason for having a shed as well is I can come out here, maybe put one of the cars on the hoist and change the oil, and I might spend 4 hours doing that. And it's just a great release. I'm mucking around doing not a lot at all, but this is my place. This is it. I'm the king, and what happens in here is my rules, and I relax. I couldn't be any more relaxed anywhere. Yeah, and the mental health part of it is perfect, and it just really brings everything into perspective. Yeah, and the shed doesn't need to be the biggest and the best. If it's somewhere you've got that you can put little things that you want and on show and all that sort of stuff, it doesn't have to be on 5 acres. It can be a little garden shed down the back, and you know, you can do whatever. So it can be whatever makes you happy is the most important, I reckon. And this little space here is exactly that. My wife's a big supporter of what I do here in the shed. She loves the cars. We find it a good social activity together as a couple. And like right back from when we were first teenagers in cars, you know, right through to now, yeah, we've just been in sync with that sort of stuff. And today now, in the later part in life, it's even better because the people you meet is great.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Does your current insurer understand your passion? At Shannons, we're motoring enthusiasts, just like you. We understand the passion you have for your special car or bike. But did you know that Shannons will also insure your daily drive, the car you drive every day? So if you're a motoring enthusiast, you've got to be with Shannons. So call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
When it comes to cars, there are some brands that will remain with us forever, no matter what. The Holden was always Australia's own car, held high in the hearts of many. Those lines, that chrome, the stories around them, and the people that owned them. From the classic through to the final, you can still trust in genuine Holden and AC Delco parts, available through the Holden Certified Service Network.
Paul, how are you?
Good, Fletch. How are you going?
Good, mate. Are you having fun?
Yeah, real great day so far.
I like your man cave. I like what you've done here to the shed. It's very cosy.
Thank you very much. Yes, we enjoy it immensely.
As soon as I turned up, just seeing the outdoor area, that awesome barbecue, and then the fire pit with your chairs around it, the outlook over the property, just beautiful, mate. Makes me want to stay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can stay as long as you like.
Paul, it's a pleasure to be here. Now, before we go any further, we've of course featuring the HR Prem here today, which is a very special car, and condolences for the recent passing of your mum, of Joyce, which was only very, very recently. So thanks for having us here today. Now, this car, wow, brand new from day one, in the family. It's never let you down. Now, even the cars with the best Strongberg carbies might get a little bit of gunk in them over the years and run rough and put you on the side of the road maybe, you know. I mean, that can happen to a lot of carbureted cars, but not even something as minor as that has happened to this HR.
No, not that I can remember. My dad looked after it really well and kept the mechanics up to it, and treated it like probably better than us kids. So it was a great, reliable car.
You grew up with this car?
Correct. We travelled in it for holidays, Sunday drives, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we got fond memories of this car.
How do you feel standing here now at this stage of life that we're at, and you've got that car when you're a little guy, little kid, you grew up with it, and it's still just behind us here. How does that make you feel?
Very proud that we've got something linked to our history that's here, family memories and all that sort of stuff. It's probably more about the car, it's more about the family and what we did in it as kids. And it's great. You can't describe it, I don't think. It's great.
Now, your father Barry couldn't be with us today, but he's doing okay, yeah?
Yeah, he's going fine. Yeah. No, we keeping well and truly close to him, and just a big adjustment for him.
Back in the 70s, Paul, it was a different time. Life was a bit slower. Wasn't as many people around. The big drive from the country to Sydney to Manly, just north of Sydney there, in those times, beach across the road, easy to find a car park space and pull up and go for a swim. What was it like getting into the HR and driving many hours to Sydney back in those times?
It was a great trip to do. Like Dad got real sick of us saying we're there yet, but when you got there, it was a real change in environment for us, being from the country, and have the ocean there and whatnot.
Well, they had the power connected too, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they did. They had electricity. It was good. So it was really good. And I know Dad used to fill the HR up when we first got there, and there was a paddock beside where we used to stay. And later on in years, I asked him, "Why do you always used to do that, Dad?" And he said, "Well, we had a certain amount of money to spend, and at the end of the week, if we had no money left, we had a tank of juice to get home."
Over the years, what would be one of the funniest memories that you have with the car?
Well, I remember we went to Queensland for a trip, and it was really hot. And Dad pulls over and says, "Geez, it's too hot for you kids sitting there." So he laid the back seat down, wound the rear window back down, and we just laid in the back, driving up the road, sucking in the fumes, but it was all good, wasn't it?
Paul, the colour of the car, tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of original early brochures of HRs, and the colour's name is Hacienda Blue. And in the brochures, there's no reference to that colour. And I always thought, geez, that's strange. Why wouldn't they have the colour? But this car was purchased by Dad on the 20th of August, 67. So a later run coming into the HKs, and that is a HK colour, apparently, which you'll find HK Premiers and that with Hacienda Blue. And that's the connection there, yeah. So they weren't done on earlier HRs.
And didn't the red engine, the 186, didn't that serve Holden well?
It was a great stable, mate, wasn't it? It just powered on for a long time, and even when they went to the 202s and that, the design was very similar because of its reliability.
The 202 made more power, but I've been told by a few owners of the 186 they always thought that was the smoother of the two engines.
Yeah, well, even the Wagon here, if you take it for a drive, the old ad was turbo smooth, and I actually really agree with that. It was. You wouldn't, I suppose, want to put it into a corner too hard, but it was a real smooth riding car, and the motor was nice and quiet.
I'm just trying to picture it now, like back in 1967, what it would have been like to have the brand new Holden. And it wasn't just a Holden; it was a Prem. We've upped the ante a little bit here. It's two-tone colours, beautiful interior. These were known for their interiors. Yeah. Obviously, the HD Prem as well. Beautiful interiors on the inside of these cars.
Yeah, exactly. And even today, sitting in the seats where my wife, go on car runs and that, and she'll even comment the front seats, how comfortable they are, and I think back in the day, probably a little bit too young to remember when Dad bought it, but I'd reckon they would have felt pretty special pulling out of the local Holden dealer and cruising off down the road in it. It would have been something pretty good, I think.
Love the Prem. Look inside, see the console. The first things that hit you, the centre console, and the armrest,
in centre of the back seat.
Yes. Well, it's right. And the back one was good for me and my brother. Dad reckons he used to divide us up a bit. But, yeah, no, they were comfortable. Yeah.
Must have had short arms.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right too. But, no, I suppose when you look at it in the day, yeah, they were very well done. Yeah.
Even the chrome work, the bezels around the instrument cluster, it still looks new. It's just a beautiful example. And obviously, too, reflecting the trophies the car has won for best wagon unrestored.
Yeah, no, it's like I say, it's a bit of a testament to my dad, the way he kept it, and then he's passed it on to me to keep it that way. And, yeah, it's a real privilege to be able to look after it, and hopefully generations in the future will have it.
Good on you, Paul. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure to turn up today and feature this beautiful HR Pram wagon. It's family legacy, and I know that you're never going to sell it and get rid of it, which is that even makes me feel good to know that, because the car is in a good home, and there's another Holden next to it here. We might have to come back another day and have a chat about that one. But, mate, I really appreciate your time, and it was lovely to catch up with yourself and Tanya. There's no doubt about it, yes. You're a Holden legend, so on behalf of General Motors Australia, mate, take this cap, add it to your collection, Paul. Well done.
Thank you, Fletch, and thank you, General Motors Australia. Thank you.
Good on you, mate. Take care. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, mate.
I've been a motoring enthusiast all my life. My Coupe 4 is rare and very special. A real performance car with all-wheel drive grip. I'm not a car club bloke and I don't work on it myself, but I do have a great mechanic. One day, I might even get that HQ. When it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons.
Shannon shares your passion. Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
They may not be making the classic Holden anymore, but the legacy lives on. You can still have a Holden certified service using genuine Holden and AC Delco quality parts at over 180 centres across Australia. Go to holden.com.au to find your nearest centre. Book your Holden in, maintain the pride. If you own a classic bike, a classic car or a classic truck, why not make Shannons number one for your insurance? Pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And if you are yet to discover the Shannons Club, it awaits you. They have fantastic in-house productions such as Shannons Club TV, Legends of Motorsport, Driven, End of an Era, and you can catch classic Restos there as well, as Australia's largest automotive online hub. For more information, visit shannons.com.au.
This HR beside us here, it means a lot to me. Meant a lot to our family, as in and driving around in it, and to still have it today. All the money in the world couldn't replace the memories of what this car and our family had in it, and it just holds a very special place in my heart and will forever. This car was family-wise, with my mother passing. She loved the car because I think it meant family together, and if she was here today, I think she would be immensely proud that the old HR, when they bought it and now is appreciated by a lot of people because it's history of Australia, and and it's here. So it means a lot. I have one feeling when I drive this car here, is I concentrate a lot because I wouldn't want to go back to my dad and said someone's run into me, but I have immense pride in driving it. It feels good. people come over and talk to you about it, and you know, oh yeah, my dad had one, and yeah, it gives you a great thrill every time you drive it. Holden back in the 60s, I think, if what I could recollect, it was if every family had a Holden in the garage, they felt complete, and it was just part of the Australian way of life to have a Holden. You know, we all, even first cars, probably more than likely had Holdens, and it's Australian through and through, and it always will be, even though they're gone now, but forever will be Australian and Holden. This HR model here left the factory with disc brake front end, and it was power assisted, all standard from the factory. So today they even brake really well, and yeah, to have a car back then with it standard was the start, I suppose, of standard features on cars. Safety, which Holden probably, with the front seat belts fitted in the factory, was all safety. The wheel covers on this HR here are the original ones that it drove away from the Holden dealer on, and I suppose you can look at the chrome work on them, and the quality of that chrome work is great. And I suppose my dad was a good driver, so he didn't hit gutters and kept them in one piece. But yeah, they're still in good condition today, even though there's been a bit of polishing going in them to keep them up to that standard. But yeah, and always been garage too, the car, which makes a difference. Well, I think back in the day, these station wagons were used a lot by, maybe during the week, he went to work and had his tools in the back, laid the back seat down, and then come the weekend, back seat gets folded up, kids in the back, either the boat or the caravan, and away they go. So they were probably a bit of a precursor to SUVs and the idea of that. So these vehicles really were a multi-purpose vehicle. These cars back in the day travelled everywhere, all over Australia, holidays, working, even country roads, dirt roads. There was no, you know, you had to have special suspension and all that sort of stuff. These things were designed here to travel whatever road you could take it on, they'd probably do it. Yeah, they did the work that they were built to do, plus some. This car, when you drive it, is smooth, and the original advertisement for these cars were turbo smooth. And even today, driving it, it still feels that way. It's smooth, it's reasonably quiet. So I suppose in the day, the build quality was right up there for 1967. The braking of it, you know, was great. So I think what they achieved back then, and every model after that, was based on the one they built before. So they just keep getting better. So comparing the first Holden to the HR would have been a complete different car, and the improvement was noted. I'm real proud to have this car featured on Classic Restos, our family car, pride and joy, and I'd like to thank everyone very much and hope you enjoy the episode.
Well, there you go. That's it for this week's episode of Classic Restos. I guess things don't get much better than this. A classic HR Holden encapsulated around some beautiful Australiana countryside. The HR Premier Station Wagon, the prized possession belonging to Barry and the late Joyce Bright, being now handed down to son Paul to keep in his family. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching.
You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club. Your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.